Welcome inside Knicks in 6, the show where we break down all the things that you need to know about the Knicks right now from an insider perspective. I am Rebecca Haarlow alongside Bill Pidto. It's Thanksgiving time. Bill, there's a lot to be thankful for. So let's talk about these Knicks. Give me something you're really excited about right now.
All right, Rebecca, happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Well, I'm thankful the Knicks wrapped up their road trip at 3-2 because when they left town, giving up 145 points to OKC, hitting this road trip, the longest road trip of the year, a 5-game road trip out west at 6-7. Your mind could go to some dark places if it was a 1-4 road trip or an 0-5 road trip. So they come back 3-2, and they come home 9-9. And all things being said, Rebecca, that was one heck of an effective road trip to go above 500. I'm thankful for the fact that they're coming home at 9-9.
I agree. Keep your mind out of those dark places, Pidto.
That's right.
all positive vibes here on Knicks in 6. But I agree with you. And I also specifically liked that win against Oklahoma City because just about a week ago, they gave up 145 points to this team at home at MSG. That is not okay. They knew it was not okay. And I really liked Jalen Brunson's leadership. I mean, not only did he tie a season high with his points, but he also said, hey, these guys punked us. I'm not okay with that. We need to send a message to teams in the league that we don't just back down to anyone. So I feel like their attitude was just as important as that win.
Yeah, and also, you mentioned Brunson. He's been so effective. We have incredible research that shows that Jalen Brunson has more baskets than anybody in the entire league between 5 and 9 feet. Think about that. He's a little man with a big man's game. It's amazing how good he's been close to the basket. So we're all thankful for him. And how about Quentin Grimes here, Rebecca? Finally healthy, getting to start the last couple of games, playing great defense, providing his energy. Really hopeful and thankful that he's now healthy and can make a significant contribution. He looked really good the last couple of games.
Absolutely. It's great to see Grimes back on the floor. He's playing with a lot of confidence, and he also tells me that that soreness is really stopped in the foot, which I think is huge because that's something that he's been dealing with all season long, going back and forth, kind of taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Now he feels like he's got that clean slate where he can move forward from a healthy perspective, which is great. And, I think too with Brunson, I want to bring you back to one point that you made on how he's playing very well around the basket. That's something that he's been doing since he was in high school. He told me that at the high school level, he looked at the game and thought, okay, guards aren't doing this. So he started doing that a little bit. And that is so impressive at that age. And then to move forward and go to Villanova and say, hey, wow, I can win national championships this way because guards also aren't playing that way. And he did it and he made it work. I love that he's always tweaking and changing the game to make it work for him. Because there are so many players in this league that come in now and say, hey, I have to be like Steph Curry, I have to shoot threes, right? Well, Brunson's saying, no, I'm going to be efficient and effective. And that's exactly what he's doing.
His footwork is unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. He's got the footwork and the post moves of a guy who's 6'11", not someone who's listed at 6'2" or whatever it is. And how about R.J. Barrett, Rebecca? We know from listening to Mike Green and Wally Zerbiak on the road trip that he's been under the weather, but he looked healthy against OKC. And he's going to be resilient. He's always going to bounce back from whatever misery he may be going through in terms of shooting the basketball. And he was RJ-like against OKC. So hopefully he's now healthy, and hopefully that's going to be a springboard for good things for him here in the near future.
Absolutely. He's a rhythm shooter too, Bill. And so when he has a game like this where he can just, the basket's like 1,000,000 feet wide for him and he's making every single shot, he's the type of player who's able to build on that. So if he gets kind of into a slump, as soon as he breaks out of it, he's out. He's not the type of guy that looks back and thinks, okay, but I wasn't shooting well before that. He's able to just move forward and continue to knock down those shots. And the other thing that I think too is when we're talking about Brunson and then we're talking about Barrett, let's throw Julius Randle into the mix when all 3 of those guys are scoring 20 plus points a game, this Knicks team is very difficult to defend. And I think we've seen that a couple times now where it's not just RJ's night, it's not just Julius's night or Brunson's night. And it's really good to see that those three are really figuring out how to share the ball, play with each other, and really put a lot of pressure on defenses.
And also, how about Emmanuel Quickly talking about shooting much better than he has? Now, Quickly's done a lot of great things all year on the defensive side of things, rebounding the basketball, distributing. Hasn't shot as well as he normally shoots, but he was really effective against OKC to wrap up the road trip. And it's going to be very interesting, Rebecca, here. When Reddish comes back from the groin injury and Derrick Rose comes back from the toe injury, with a healthy Grimes and Quickly doing his thing and Deuce McBride playing well, Tom Thibodeau's got some. He's got a lot of servings of Thanksgiving food to dole out here in terms of playing time, because that rotation is going to be clogged up. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all shakes out.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. You got to love that these young guys are playing well. Jericho Sims certainly in that mix too. But Bill, one more point that I'm going to leave with you before we head off for all of our Thanksgiving festivities is, before the road trip, the Knicks were in a spot where they were beating the teams that they were supposed to beat, right? The guys with records who are not as good as them, and they weren't beating the teams with records that are better. And so I think there's a swagger factor that comes into play when this team goes out on the road and beats Denver, beats Utah, and is in a position where they're now starting to knock off these teams. And I want to leave you with a quick fact. The first 4 games of that road trip, so it was the Jazz, the Nuggets, the Warriors, and the Suns. They went 2-2 in that stretch, right? Those teams are combined 25-4 at home. And so the Knicks go in and they win 2 of those games. I think that really bodes well for the future. And we could keep talking Knicks all day long. I know you can, Pidto. So we'll wrap it up here. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. And make sure you check back in with us. You've got Knicks and 6 coming your way all the time with all the latest news.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Be good, be well, and have a great meal. And we'll see everybody on Friday.